This film takes place in Stockholm. It is dubbed in parts.
More than 5 years ago, I started to get panic attacks and a lot of anxiety. I also had a huge feeling that I was all alone. And then I read this report and it said that 1 of 4 young people have some mental illness. So I texted Sofie and just said, Ångestodden, are you with me? And I was.
This is Ida Höckerstrand and Sofie Hallberg. Together they host a podcast about mental health issues.
The podcast is called Ångestodden.
We have talked about eating disorders, panic attacks, OCD, but we also talk a lot about social media, jealousy, trying to find yourself.
Ida.
Welcome everyone to episode 254 of the Anxiety Pod.
Sometimes our episodes are really funny, but they can also be hard.
So, what's happened in your life lately?
I've struggled with the same old problem. I get invited to a social event where I don't know anyone and my head goes blank because I don't know what to talk about.
We wanted to inspire people to talk about these questions, to talk about how they really feel.
We bought a mini microphone and recorded the first episode 3 times before we published it because we think it sucked. but the third time we just okay, we just publish. we have to publish this now.
So cliche, but we said if we could help one person, it's gonna be
worth it.
Yes.
We live in an age of comparing, that you always can compare your miserable life with someone's perfect life on Instagram. And I think that is why so many young people is feeling anxiety, because you are never good enough.
Ida and Sofie stroll and talk.
Today we have around 150,000 and 200,000 listenings each month. We also hold lectures around Sweden in schools and for people who in different ways work with young people. When we started Ångestpodden 5 years ago, there was not so many podcasts.
They talked about mental illness.
Sometimes we called ourselves pioneers in this
podcast world in Sweden.
I don't know if it's okay, but we like to.
Yes. We know that we have helped so many to take the first step to talk about it. It's like a gift. Every time someone write to us or say that to us, that you guys really helped me in my depression or with my anxiety
And sometimes we heard, haven't we talked enough about this problem?
Yes.
And we're like, no. Because if we stop now, there will be no change. We are just in the beginning.
Ida and Sofie have sat down for a break by Lake Mälaren. It is early evening. Across the water is Stockholm City Hall. Ida rests her head on Sofie's shoulder. Ida Höckerstrand and Sofie Hallberg released their first episode of Ångestpodden, which translates as The Anxiety Pod, in 2015. More than 250 episodes have followed. The duo's mission is to break taboos around mental illness. A quarter of the world's population will at some point be affected by a mental or neurological disorder, according to the World Health Organization. This film about Ida and Sofie and their podcast is brought to you by Sweden's official YouTube channel. It's an episode in the channel's documentary series, Stories from Sweden.